What, we some kind of Suicide Squad?
I am Iron Man.
You are a toy!
I live my life a quarter mile at a time.
Server Anakin! I have the high ground!
I'm gonna steal the Declaration of Independence.
I'm simply saying that life, finds a way.
Welcome back to the Big Movie Bois podcast, the only podcast where three unqualified people talk about movies and other subjects around the TV and movie industry just from a more regular person's perspective, because God knows we don't actually know what we're talking about over here. I'm your host, Jeremy Baum, and with me as always is Bob Liebel.
What's up, everybody? Was that from the first episode?
It was from Ben Stitch.
Wow.
I said that?
Yeah.
I asked Ben, what is the Big Movie Bois podcast, and that was your answer.
Wow, I definitely did not write a response down.
All right, Ben. If he were to ask you that today, what would you say?
What the podcast is about?
What is it about?
I would have said three idiots talk about movies and other stuff about TV shows, and I don't think I would have said a more regular person's perspective.
A more regular person's perspective is really the best part of that.
I'm gonna guess Jeremy didn't put me on the spot, but I still let it creep up on me.
I remember when you said that, and I was like, that was kind of weird. And then I said, Bob, you got anything to add on? And he just hammered that home.
About regular person's perspective?
Yeah, if you go back and listen to it, you really doubled down on that one.
Oh, God, dude.
And I was like, we had never discussed that, even once prior to any of these recordings, but that's just what came out.
I think what I would say now is movies and TV shows from a drunk person's perspective.
That is probably more accurate, if we're all being honest here. But the reason for the kind of nostalgic intro here, we should probably just get it out right off the top here. This is the final episode of the Big Movie Bois podcast. Season 1 is coming to an end, and there's no plans for Season 2. Just a little retrospective on our journey here. We, to the best of my knowledge, started doing practice episodes on March 8th, 2020.
Perfect timing, if
Wow.
I can say so. I don't think we thought COVID was going to affect us at all at that point.
No. I remember when we were doing it. I'm like, this COVID shit.
Nothing.
What even is that?
We did a few practice ones in person.
I
And then-
remember, yeah. We did a marriage story.
I think
Or just
so.
marriage story, not
Yeah,
a
yeah.
marriage story.
We did also our greatest episode that never saw the light of day, the improv episode.
That'll leak at one
That
point.
needs to get leaked, yeah.
And then, so from there, obviously, pandemic happened. We did some more practice ones remotely, and then we published our first episode on April 26th of 2020.
Holy
was-
fuck.
18 months ago.
Literally to the date. Oh, sorry, not of this recording. Never mind. Cut that already, Jeremy.
Almost to the date on Monday
Yeah.
when this comes out. So for those playing at home,
Ask Bob first.
how many
Bob, did you-
episodes, Bob, have we done in those 18 months? Granted, we've been on a bit of a hiatus as of late.
18 months? That narrows it down.
How many weeks are in 18
How many
months?
weeks are in 18 months? Well, we've done more than 50. We've done less than 100. I have no fucking idea. Well, they all kind of mixed together for me for a handful of reasons, but my guess is 69.
Nice.
A nice guess. And maybe accurate, because I don't have the numbers for all the ones that we've lost along the way. But we have published 64 full
Holy
episodes
shit!
and 2 bonus episodes.
You were only 3 off.
Oh my god.
And we
And
lost.
we've probably recorded 5 others.
yeah.
4 or 5 others that will never see the
Definitely
light of day.
3. So it might be 69 on the dot.
That might be
Because the one
yeah.
the one Jordan episode, the one Eric episode, and then 2 weeks ago. I don't know if we have any more in between.
There's
there, but-
probably one more in
yeah.
there as well, but yeah, at least those. And our average runtime, give or take, an hour. That means we've produced 66 hours of content. In order to listen to the entire catalog of the Big Movie Bois podcast, it would require 2 3/4 days time.
And that's the best way to listen, I gotta think, is just straight through.
Yep.
We only get better the more sleep deprived you are. And just a little extra bit of information for you. The Big Movie Bois podcast occupies 409 gigabytes on my hard drive.
Is that a lot?
Yeah, I could guess how many fucking gigabytes are on your hard drive, and I'd be just as close as the fucking. number
That's
of
about
episodes.
half a terabyte, and that's
That's not helping.
Doesn't help.
Not helping at all. That sounds big though.
How many gigabytes is it? Or is that what a GB is? What is
A
it?
GB is a gigabyte.
Gigabyte.
Nice, Ben.
Your phones
Good callback.
probably have 64 gigabytes of memory on them.
Okay. So
Okay.
this couldn't hold that. I haven't downloaded all the episodes.
Well, that's good. This includes, thumbnails and Premiere projects and other stuff as well. But just a little, some stats, to quantify what we've been doing for the last 18 months.
I got a better one for you. How many? A little guessing game for you guys. How many followers do you think we have on Instagram?
I know it's over 100.
I know it's over 100. Well, it could be less. We haven't done shit. Well, Bob boasted about it like 4 weeks ago when we got over 100. I'll say we're at 103.
Jeremy, your guess?
109.
You guys are really far off.
Oh.
276.
What
Whoa.
the fuck?
Yeah.
Bob, what are you doing on
We
Instagram?
got a presence on Instagram, that's for sure.
Is this not our last episode?
Yeah,
then?
we get about, let's see, this post had 14 likes, this one had 18 likes, this one had 12.
How do we have more likes than listens?
12.
Tell you what, if this episode gets 245 listens,
We're not done.
We'll be back next
We're
week.
not done.
We're posting the Leo gif. We're not fucking leaving.
season 2 will start next week. Some more stats of that variety. We have both 45 followers on Twitter and 45 subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah, we're not big on where people can actually listen, but
We're not big where it counts, but we know how to use it.
nice.
Well, if you want to keep the nostalgia train going just a little bit, I listened to our first episode today.
I've drunkenly said I was going to do that. Probably every week when we record.
I thought about doing it, and I was like, that might actually make me sad.
no,
Did
I
you
don't
get
even
sad
want,
listening
I don't
to
even want to hear it. I've never listened back to one of our episodes. Probably for the past year, I've never listened back to an episode. I used to listen to them. I haven't in a long time.
When I came back from California, I listened to like 5 or 6 on the car at home. I'm like, we're
Why the-
actually not terrible.
Why the fuck would you do that?
Dude,
Sounds
you
horrible.
run out of content when
Yeah.
you're driving cross country real
True.
quick.
I went back and listened to it, and it did make me a little sad.
You think we're better now?
I
Not that it matters.
expected the first episode to be cringe.
Not
Not
too
a bad
cringe.
episode.
I remember I had a really good COVID pitch.
What did we do?
Well, we talked about news. The big news topics were Venom 2 being delayed, Scoob coming out for a VOD $20,
Who could
rental,
forget that?
and HBO Max
Wow.
getting a release date.
We used to suck HBO Max's dick every fucking week, dude.
Not when it was first announced.
Yeah.
You hated it?
You were skeptics.
Oh, yeah. Were
Wow.
you?
My prediction was it wasn't a service people would be excited for, but it was a service everyone would end up getting.
Not the service we wanted, but the one we needed.
Exactly.
It's my most used service.
I
which
use
is
it all the time
insane,
now,
yeah.
We also did our COVID-19 coronavirus movie pitches, and that inspired multiple recurring jokes, including mentioning Robert Pattinson, mentioning Mark Wahlberg and Boston, and a mention for Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker, which would inspire mentioning Rush Hour in probably 63 of our 64 episodes.
Yeah, Rush Hour we mentioned easily every episode, and Mark Wahlberg.
I
Every
remember.
other
I
episode.
remember my movie something about Jason Bateman, and it seemed like a real plot. Jeremy had one about like a romantic comedy being trapped, and Bob had the funniest fucking movie.
I don't even remember
Brendan
that.
Fraser is just in it. And he's
yeah.
a terrible person, and we digitally de-aged the kid from Stuart Little.
Oh yeah. Haley Joel Osment or something, whatever his name is. Wait, who played? I had somebody playing the coronavirus too.
Christopher Walken.
Christopher Walken. There we go.
That was a detail you mentioned at the beginning, repeated at the end, and it played zero part in the actual plot of the story.
He just plays the coronavirus.
But that pitch turned into our one and only animated clip that I spent
That was so funny.
so
That
long
was good.
making. And I, to this day, I think it's one of the better pieces of content I've ever made.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Criminally
I've
underrated.
rewatched that for sure.
It's like when Brendan Fraser's in that fucking thing and you have him shaking around whenever he talks.
He's the worst. You made him like the worst person ever.
Yeah.
And of course, we reviewed Extraction, which was a
Oh
pretty,
my fucking
pretty cool
god, that
movie.
was our first episode.
And that was the first time, at least in a published episode, where Bob revealed that he watched the movie for the week on his phone.
How many movies do you think I watched on my phone for this podcast? Probably 30.
Very early on, you were watching a lot on your
I
phone.
eventually got a TV.
Because you
Once
were,
I moved,
you were
when I
still
lived-
living at home, yeah.
Yeah, when I lived at my parents' house, every episode that we recorded,
Yes.
I watched on my phone.
and the ones when we...
And recorded on your phone.
Yeah.
And in the first episode, your phone goes off in the background.
Oh yeah. Actually, I think I only watched 2 or 3 movies since on my phone ever since I moved out, and it was in what the fuck is the name of the movie? Christopher Nolan.
Tenet?
Tenet. Watch Tenet on my
Of course.
phone.
Why wouldn't you watch Tenet?
It was
The
fucking-
way he intended that
It
movie.
was fucking
I
great.
remember when we used to do these more so over, from our own houses, and Bob would sound like he was jumping on the fucking bed.
Dude, I can't sit still. That's what it was.
When Bob tried to record an episode from his car.
That was early on. Siren immediately goes down. He's like, I gotta roll these windows up. And he's like, it's so hot.
This is right before I moved out. I was looking at my current apartment.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And little insider fact for everybody listening: I live on the loudest street in America. Could not for the fucking life of me get quality fucking audio.
I remember me and Jeremy talking right before that and being like, this is such a fucking stupid idea. We're not gonna be able to do it 5 minutes in. Bob's like, oh, we're just gonna have to do this later.
Yeah, that did not work.
So that's where we started, and plenty of shenanigans occurred along the way. So are there any particular highlights you guys want to call out? We're kind of just doing not quite a clip show, but certainly a retrospective right now. If you guys want to shout out any moments that stick in your memory that you'll cherish forever.
I'll go first. One of my favorite episodes was one I did remotely while I was in California. It was the one where we did the comedy bracket, and Bill was on that one. And I just remember I think it was like an hour and a half. That might be one of our longest episodes. And I just remember laughing our asses off at every stupid line from all those movies. And I
was just horribly quoting them.
I'm probably getting all the quotes wrong. I forget what movie we did. We did like
It was a
Borat 2 or
Two.
whatever. Yeah. And no, that episode sticks out as being like one of the funniest ones I did remotely, at least.
One of my favorites. All of mine, I have a reoccurring theme, but do you guys remember that one where I came and I was fucking annihilated? You guys are waiting for
I
me?
couldn't tell you which one what
yeah,
episode
that was my
but-
question, Jeremy. What movie did we do? Because I don't remember anything about the
You have to
episode.
be more specific.
I showed up. I was super drunk.
You're just going to be more specific about how drunk you
Yeah,
were.
no, I was
because you played Frolf
That was
and
when
you
I
drank
came
about
back-
18 beers.
Yeah, so when I came back from Frisbee golf with Chris, and we were hitting it hard that day, and I couldn't even walk up your driveway, and I somehow made it into the bedroom. I don't know what we did.
The studio, Bob.
The studio. Sorry. But yeah, that's one of the first
You definitely
ones.
said the same point about 100 times for
Oh,
whatever
easily,
movie
yeah.
we talked about. I would love to figure out what movie that was.
We'll never know.
Well, if you are you waiting to go through your list last?
I mean, I've got a very comprehensive list, so I figured
I
I'd
got,
let you guys
like,
knock out
a
yours
couple more to
first.
talk about.
Yeah, I'll go next. More recent one was when we went. It was I think the only movie we all saw together then in theaters was F9,
Yep.
and the pregame for it.
That
Just
was a fun one.
eating plain hot dogs for me, and then Bob wanting to fight the family for them not leaving. That was fun
Yeah.
because I love a good passive aggressive confrontation where
Oh,
someone's
yeah.
like, "Time to leave the theater."
Fuck those people, honestly. They're like, those are the biggest pieces
No.
of shit.
Those people said I don't know if this is true, but for me it's the main reason we're done doing the podcast is those people.
I just can't even think about a movie and not think about those people.
Yeah, fuck those people. Bob, you got another one?
Yeah. Another one about alcohol. Do you guys
Is that the common thing?
Yeah. Do you guys remember we did Beer Fellas and we got fucking wasted and we played a drinking game and we were doing
That was almost one of
shots?
mine.
I think
we did-
was that probably the most drunk collectively we've gotten while
Yeah,
recording.
Oh,
because
easily.
we were doing shots of because we did a superpower hour,
Yeah,
but we were doing shots of liquor during that episode.
we did a drinking game where we did shots of liquor and then we were drinking the entire time.
I couldn't tell you what the fucking game was
Something stupid I came up with probably. Probably
because
just
that was
no-
your episode.
Did
no
we do
fucking point.
Goodfellas.
6 Degrees of Mark Wahlberg?
Would that
Oh,
have
we
been
did.
that one? Oh yeah, was that it? But
We did that in the episode, but we also played a drinking game. It was a jam-packed episode. We did a lot of stuff. I don't know if
was that the same episode?
Maybe not.
It might not have been, but either way, 6 Degrees of Mark Wahlberg was also really, really fucking good. But yeah,
because we did a challenge on an actual challenge on mine where it was just all about sports because we needed Jeremy to lose a challenge.
but back to the Beer Fellas, I liked that you guys had not seen that movie, and that's like one of the best fucking movies of all time.
I was
So
gonna
that's why
say,
I enjoyed it.
out of like all the movies that we watched, all new movies, that was probably my favorite new movie that I took home from the pod.
There's a lot of
I'd have to look at a list of them because
There's a lot of
probably
movies that
I
there's
was
a
going
ton.
through and
this
it was,
podcast has forced me to watch and that I appreciate about
It was
that.
either Goodfellas or
Including-
Project Power.
Including but not limited to our 2 trilogies we did, because we have a rule on the Big Movie Boys. If Bob mentions a trilogy, we have to watch all 3
It's
of them.
gospel. That was my final highlight, and it was getting you guys to finally watch Rush Hour and getting you to finally watch Lord of the Rings.
That's Jeremy. I've seen all of them. Lord of the Rings, I was never going to watch if we didn't do it for the podcast.
Aren't you happy you saw it though? You probably don't like it as much as I love it, but you're happy you saw it.
Yeah, that was a good trilogy. Going through Harry Potter right now, I think Harry Potter is way fucking better. I'm way more into that fantastical shit.
Before we Jeremy decided to abruptly end this podcast, I was going to pitch that we watch Harry Potter do an October marathon, and each episode do two movies.
God, that would have been hell. Even though
I've seen every fucking one like 100 times.
Jeremy, you would have been the one not to watch them because you're like, I've already seen them.
I know Harry Potter as good as I know The Longest Yard. I don't have to watch these movies. I could just.
Were you gonna pitch Fast Enough for Fantastic Beasts 3?
That would have been fucking.
I was
gonna watch
all the Harry
then.
Potter movies. I've never even seen the Fantastic Beasts movies, but
They're not horrible.
The Secret of Dumbledore. That just title alone got me excited.
Yeah, I don't know.
No.
it's pretty cheesy.
Yeah.
Secret of Dumbledore. But Jared, speaking of your Lord of the Rings, that brings me to my other point where you had, because it was the second movie in the
Two
trilogy.
Towers.
Yeah, and you didn't record your part of the podcast for some reason. I don't know why you just didn't do that. I think it was a challenge you subconsciously wanted to
Yeah, I was like, it'd be funny if I just didn't record my half of the conversation.
And then you saying, hey, did you guys think the podcast sounded weird? Me and Bob probably listened to like 5 minutes of it. We're like, no, it sounded great.
I think I said exactly said it. It was the best it's ever sounded.
And Jamie had to re-record. I can't believe you did that.
I don't even think you
I
did.
can't
I think
believe
you're
you did
lying to this day because I don't know how I would not have noticed that.
I can show you the files, Bob.
Seamless.
We won't know shit about that. That was pretty incredible.
Yeah, that was a highlight for me as one of the worst things I've ever done to myself. Was it worth it? No. Clearly not. But here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are. Some of the smaller bits, because I've got a list of like a lot of the big recurring things we've done, but some of the smaller things that I liked, and in this first case kind of wish was a little bit bigger and it could be executed better, was our 50th episode celebration where we reviewed National Treasure for a second time as if we had never reviewed it again. And I really like the prospect of every 50 episodes reviewing National Treasure as if we've never reviewed
50 episodes? I thought we just did it the year on the anniversary. I mean, it might as well be the same thing, but
I think it just so happened that it worked out that way.
Was your premise we were going to do it every 50 episodes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe every 50 weeks we just get together and do National Treasure.
Just keep putting it out.
The 10 people who listen, I don't think a single one of them acknowledged the fact that we reviewed the same movie again.
My brother who does listen was like, didn't you guys do National Treasure already? And I'm like, no, we didn't do it.
Did he laugh?
I'm sure he
You
didn't.
think it was funny? Okay.
Another like one-off thing that we did was the movies based on zodiac signs.
When the fuck did we do that?
You came up with the idea.
Nope.
No, I did not.
Wait, didn't you do something
Was
about
this the
zodiac
movie where
signs?
I came, or the episode I came really fucked up?
No, I think we were remote for this one.
You came up with something about zodiac signs.
I don't think so. I don't know anything about zodiac signs.
I know that was the point, I thought.
I just like this one because literally 2 weeks later, HBO Max was like, "We've got movies for you based on your zodiac sign." Like, oh, interesting idea you had there, HBO Max.
Okay, now I'm remembering this. Yeah, we did it remotely. This was in the winter.
I remember nothing.
You came up with it, Jer?
Yeah.
Do you know what was
that
the
was a
premise
horrible
again?
fucking idea.
We just it was a horrible fucking. What did we just come up with? What? I thought, was it like a Cosmo
I had
bit?
a bunch of different articles that would recommend different types of
Yes,
movies
you're right.
based on
Do
your.
you know what we came up with?
I remember.
We didn't come up with anything. I was just reading articles to you guys based on.
It was like It was like a Christmas movie that you would watch based off like what's best for you.
Holy shit, dude! I do not
Drama,
remember this
comedy.
at all.
We
Literally
reviewed
at
the
all.
Little Things that episode as well.
You remember that
What
movie?
the fuck is the little things?
With Denzel and Rami
Oh,
Malek.
okay.
Glad we all share the same same memories of that one. And then one of my favorite recurring bits is a Bob bit where every time we talk about a movie, we then expand on the universe of the movie and add the subtitle "Battle for Boston"
Oh yeah.
and cast Mark Wahlberg in it. Makes me laugh every time.
It will never not make me laugh. And every time it's just like, oh, how would the sequel go? And Bob would be like,
Just imagine, instead of this, it's a harbor.
For everyone listening, you know what Bob's gonna do every time. He gets the biggest grin on his face. He finally sits up in his chair.
Whenever I do this,
Picks the mic up out of his lap. And then some of the recurring themed episodes we've done. I don't know that you guys like them as much, but I always like the double features. The 2 times we've done it, we did Clue and Knives Out as a double feature, and then we did Ants and a Bug's Life as a double feature. I think it's fun to pick 2 similar movies and compare and contrast like that.
Instant Bug's Life, the fact that they came out like 2 months or 2 weeks apart
It
from
was
each
pretty
other.
interesting. Like, we
Was
learned a
mind-blowing.
bunch, I feel, there. And then, yeah, I think out of all those, like Knives Out was like an actual really fucking good movie.
And I enjoy Clue now, actually. I remember we were
No,
back.
fuck Jeremy
we
for
were
liking that
talking shit
movie.
about it, I remember, but like I've looked back.
I think we were
at
just
Clue.
talking shit about Jeremy.
Yeah. But I kind of like Clue.
I won't watch it again.
If it's on TV, I'll watch it.
Of course, we got to mention our award shows. Some of the biggest to ever happen. We've done the Halvesies twice, the Bimbos once. Always a great time.
Those were some of the most fun to actually like prep and get ready for. Because we didn't have to watch a shit movie that we didn't want to watch.
We'd already watched a bunch. And then we just got to discuss which was the most
My
shit.
favorite, speaking of that, I don't know if it was a Bimbos or a Halvesies, but how we gave Mark Wahlberg the worst actor and best actor for Spencer Confidential.
That was our first one, right?
I think that was the first Halvesies.
Yeah,
That was the
Okay.
best one. There's a bunch of other awesome shit that happened at that.
Vanessa Hudgens.
Oh yeah, best moment or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Best COVID moment.
That's another reoccurring thing that we do all the time. Talk about that piece of work.
I think my all-time favorite recurring thing we've done is our best of the decades. Not only is the process by which we determine the best movie of the decade just infallible,
The stupidest fucking.
Now I want to test us. Could you list the ones that we got for each decade?
I could list the winner,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
maybe.
That's what I'm curious about.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Okay, yeah, 2010s.
That was Wolf of Wall Street's 2010s. 2000s was, we'll come back to. 90s. 90s we might also have to come back to. 80s was. Yeah, no, I don't. I don't got any of them.
2010s was Wolf of Wall Street. Then it was The Dark
we've
Knight.
already talked about one of the
Okay,
movies.
Dark Knight.
Goodfellas was 90s.
Oh, okay.
And then Back to the Future. Shout out to Ty on that one.
Those aren't horrible.
Yeah, I think we did pretty good.
I think the one we fucked up the most on was the 2010s. Right? Or
We could
the
have. I think that was the toughest one that we could
I
probably.
think
could
that
pick
was
something.
probably the
Well,
most
Jeremy
divisive.
wanted us to pick The Social Network, and we were never
Oh,
going
yeah.
to pick that.
That one got fucking buried.
But I think didn't we all have like different number 1 picks, and then like all of our number 3 picks were Wolf of Wall Street, and that's
Yeah.
just kind of how it ended up winning.
Which is how science works when you.
Exactly. I
makes
told
enough
you
sense
it's
to me.
an infallible process that we have there. But the 80s one in particular, I liked a lot because it forced me to watch however many
You went in a
30
deep dive,
movies. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Ghostbusters sucks.
that is
I like
an opinion that
Ghostbusters.
you and only you holds.
I'm okay with that.
Then of course we did the one episode of the Superpower Hour. Obviously, I love just talking about the MCU. I figured if I could get you guys drunk, you would also enjoy talking about the MCU.
I don't remember anything
I
about
remember.
that.
Of course you don't. We got hammered. But, was that an actual hour? Did we stop at an hour? I gotta wonder.
I believe we recorded for a full hour. The episode was probably just
A
under.
little less. We had
Yeah.
added stuff. Bob in particular. I remember that one being fun because we would go around and I got to bash what I didn't like. I like talking about Marvel because I like being honest about it and saying which movies I think are really good and then which movies I think are fucking stupid. Half of them.
And we respect you for your honesty. And then the last like recurring bit I'll mention, of course, is the Fasten Up for F9, because if nothing else, it proves that people, even if they hold bad opinions, can be swayed into changing those opinions. Over the course of 9 weeks, you guys went from shitting on Fast and Furious to being excited for opening night of F9.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I would have put money on it that you would not get us excited or potentially even going to that movie. I could see us being like, we're not going to this. And you got us excited to go to that movie.
Those recaps are pretty good. I'll be honest.
Yeah, they were good because it was around the same time as me doing the Mighty Ducks. Damn, we had some jam-packed episodes.
I feel like I actually have seen every Fast and the Furious, even
You
though
have.
I have not.
You have for sure.
And then, of course, all of our guest episodes. Shout out to Jordan, Bill, Petco, Steven, my dad, Gary, my brother, Eric, Liz, Sheriff.
A lot of guests.
Am I missing anyone else?
Yeah,
Your dads both contributed to the
Oh, yeah,
episode
that's right. That
that
was a
my
good
dad was
episode.
on.
no, you're not missing anyone. Those The only one I would just want to cut out is Petco because those episodes suck to record. So Ben, if you're listening in Europe, I hope
He's not.
Nope.
Those podcasts were probably my 2 least favorite, but every time we had a guest, it was always fun.
Bill was a great time every time he was on.
Well, Bill,
High
the
energy.
second time at his house was when we had Chucky as a guest,
As an audience member.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
but was Bill only on it twice?
Oh,
Shit,
3 times?
Yeah. No, he wasn't. I don't think.
Oh, we did 2 here and then 1 at his house.
No, we just did. No, it was just 1, and I wasn't here for that. And then we
Remember
did
that
it at
time
his
Jeremy
house.
wanted to record at his fucking bachelor party?
Yeah, that's what it was. That's what.
Maybe
it was.
that's what I'm thinking of.
That was the beginning of the end of the podcast when Jeremy
Yeah.
was like, "We're doing it at bachelor party." Me and Bob were like, "No
Like,
fucking
are you-
way."
Oh, get fucked, buddy. No way.
And we didn't. Funny how that works. And then, of course, how could we not mention the Big Movie Boys presents Who is the Biggest Movie Boy Challenge? Not only is there an ongoing challenge that I guess maybe I'll just tweet the updates on occasionally. We're currently in the midst of a movie draft. These boys...
The losers still gonna have to do something. Bob, you're gonna have to like buy us a 6-pack or something when you
I'll
lose.
do that. But I'll drink them, most of them.
And you're gonna have to watch fucking Geostorm.
I was about to ask you guys what the name of the movie was. I forgot. At this point, I don't even remember what I had to watch.
You guys know this already, but just to update anyone who's listening, Bob, currently in last place, he has 2 movies that have been pushed into 2022.
I'm pretty sure I'm still going to win.
But at least you've had 2 really good showings so far.
His 2 movies, Paw Patrol, the movie, and The Suicide Squad, have combined for $39.6 million. He's still got Spider-Man No Way Home and Venom Let There Be Carnage left to come out.
I could drop Let There Be Carnage, and I'll still win.
We'll see about that.
Maybe hold on to it.
Ben has had 4 movies come out: Space Jam: A New Legacy, Black Widow, A Quiet Place Part 2, and The Boss Baby Family Business.
What? It made more money than Paw Patrol.
Why the fuck did we both pick children's movies?
Because
I don't
during
know.
non-pandemic years, they're fucking boomers.
True. That's true.
Those have combined for $175 million. Remember, though, one of those movies, The Boss Baby, will have to get cut.
Well, Halloween Kills is definitely not going to be put. And
I'm going to see that
yeah, No
movie.
Time to Die is going to be pretty big, right? That's a thing. People like those movies.
We'll see. I've only had 3 movies come out. F9, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, and Jungle Cruise have combined for $180 million.
I can't believe that Shang-Chi beat F9.
It's breaking records.
Well, not Black Widow.
Well, not for the year, but it broke Labor Day weekend records.
I don't give a shit about that, Jer.
That's important.
Just telling you the truth. And not only that, I have Ghostbusters, Afterlife, Eternals, and Dune all yet to come. Am I going to cut Jungle Cruise at $34 million?
Is Dune being also released on HBO Max?
Right. Which is why I took it so late.
I don't think it's. I don't think that's gonna pass 34 million.
I think it will. I think the hype
You
is
think
there.
Chalamet gets people there?
I think Zendaya gets people there.
Zendaya and Oscar Isaac do for sure.
Who the fuck is Oscar Isaac?
Oh,
Name
damn.
him. Huh?
He's in
Dameron.
Star
I
Wars.
don't know
and-
that one either.
Star Wars.
I don't know what is he in Star Wars.
He's Poe Dameron.
I've only seen the first 3. Is it in those 3?
It's in the new 3. He's in a bunch of stuff. You've seen him.
Hey, I'm seeing Many Saints in Newark next week.
Is he in that?
No. But I want to... Can I add Many Saints in Newark to this just for fun?
Is
No.
it only streaming?
No, it comes
No,
out.
it's
I'm seeing
on.
it in theaters.
Oh,
theaters.
okay.
Yeah, I already got my
Okay.
tickets today.
Wow. All right, and then for the overall challenges, we've had 12 of them, including the movie draft. I have won 6. I've lost 2. Ben has won 4, lost 4. Respectable.
Consistent.
Bob has never won a Big Movie Boy challenge.
I don't think that's true.
Wait, did you say we've done 12? Give me the math on this.
Well, the math,
Okay, the one is we haven't finished
one
one.
is not completed, and one had no winner because Bob cheated.
I'm giving myself a winning record on this. I'm 5-4.
How did I never win one?
You sucked.
You came in second.
Wait, so how many have we done?
12.
Oh, I was gonna say I'm so
We've-
fucking stupid. I didn't watch 12 movies.
11 have completed. Holy shit.
How many have I lost?
6.
You had watched 6 movies. You only watched 5.
Probably watched.
And you definitely cheated once. At least you had to watch Cats.
That was actually still the worst one by far.
Bob, can you tell us what Vin Diesel's real name is?
Oh fuck. Oh, I fucking forgot that.
Something Saint.
Harder to do without
Mark
Google.
Sinclair.
Harder to do without Google in front of you, isn't it?
Mark Sinclair.
Yes, it is Mark Sinclair.
Bob
Good
thought that
job.
was gonna be like. I remember we stopped like recording for a minute, and Bob's like, "Hey guys, just so you know, like I cheated."
I
Like,
looked up Mark
all good fun though, right?
I looked up Mark Sinclair because I knew it was going to be on the list.
That's cheating.
So what? That's competitive advantage. That's not cheating.
Well, clearly Bob needed the help because there's a big old goose egg under his number of wins column there.
And you always guarantee
Give
victory.
give me one with an asterisk. It's like Reggie Bush's Heisman. Like we all know that he has a Heisman.
There is an asterisk next to your name under the loser category next to the stage names challenge. So there's your
You lost
asterisk.
7.
That's fine.
So yeah, that's the Big Movie Boy challenges. Clearly, if we're just
Wow, I
basing
was
it
on a
off,
hot streak to start with 3 wins in a row.
if we're basing it on wins alone, it would appear that I am the biggest movie boy. Are there any other highlights and stuff before we get to what will be my final topic of conversation?
Yeah, I got another one. Just going back to past episodes, which is kind of like this one. We didn't really have a plan coming in. Jeremy, you kind of do have a plan structure for this. But when we did you titled it, Guy Fieri Should Host American Idol. But we came in, I don't want to say usually. Jeremy usually had a plan. Me and Bob sometimes...
Nothing. I came with literally nothing. I used to write
we
notes.
would watch
and I
the movies.
stopped.
We would watch the movies.
Yeah.
We'd take some notes. But that episode, for some reason, we just had nothing. And it was one of the episodes that I listened back to, and it's a really fun episode.
That's
to
the best
listen
one
to.
to listen back to. I've actually listened back to
that's
that
a
one as
really
well.
fun one. I can't believe we pulled shit out of it. And maybe other people don't give a shit about it, but for us, I actually really enjoy listening back to that one.
What's our most viewed episode?
No, take the Pecco one out. That one doesn't count.
The Pecco one, at least on YouTube, because on audio services they're more consistent. YouTube, there's a couple that have popped off a little bit more. The first one with Pecco has the most views, and then after that is our Fate of the Furious Rush Hour 3 episode.
Yeah, count that one as there, because the one with Pecco has like 4,000 views.
Yeah. And that the Fate of the Furious Rush Hour 3 is like 2,000 or something.
As it should.
That was an actual good episode.
A lot of 2 very good movies in one episode.
Some would call them great.
What about you, Bob? Any final highlights?
I just like coming and getting drunk with my pals every week. If I'm being honest, that was always good time.
Bob is about to cry, and it's gonna make me cry.
We're just gonna have a good old cry.
It is unfortunate that we're never going to talk to each other again.
That was agreed upon. Behind the scenes, we said we'll never see each other ever again. We're all gonna go our separate ways, as podcasters should when the podcast
In
ends.
30 years, when we look back at this, it's just gonna
When
be
we're big
so
movie
weird.
men.
I'm gonna have children, and I'm gonna be like, yeah, I did. Yeah, you know what podcasts are? Those aren't even gonna be around. And then
Yeah, that'll be like a VHS
like,
tape to them.
I did one with my friends. We had like fucking 70 episodes somehow.
Wow, was it good?
Not really.
Sometimes. Other times, they reviewed Hubie Halloween.
I'm gonna watch that once October.
I'm watching
starts. Yeah, I
that.
fucking love that movie.
October 1st, 1 week from today, I'm
That's
watching
my
that
favorite. That's my favorite episode. That's my favorite episode.
That is objectively our worst episode.
Wait.
shit. That episode
Was that a Big Movie Boys challenge?
Yes. No, we just did a movie draft. We did a
But
movie
we
draft.
voted on Twitter.
Yeah, but we didn't do
Who
like.
won that?
I did.
No.
Yes, go fucking
No.
back. We don't have that many tweets. Go back and look, and I promise you I won. Also, when we did that was like I think our first one where we went back to doing it remotely, and we could
We
not
didn't know how to
figure it
speak
out.
to each other.
We didn't.
The energy was not there.
We
It
would
was-
like
That was the most awkward
Bob would be
episode
like,
ever.
all right, the movie I pick is Halloween. Next up, Ben.
Yeah.
We would not talk about the
and
movie.
we
at
did
all.
that for 18 movies.
And I think that was a 25-minute podcast.
Not a great one. Well, if you guys are
Are you looking back?
No, I'm texting somebody.
clearly Bob's heart is in this last episode. We've gone through the catalog. We've gone through the library. We've reflected a lot. I've got 2 final questions for you guys. One could have been asked on the first episode, but we're going to ask it now. And then subsequently, a little bit of a reflection here. So, Bob, I'll start with you. What do movies mean to you? And subsequently, what has the Big Movie Boys podcast meant to you?
What do movies mean to me? I don't fucking know. I don't know. I like to watch them sometimes. Sometimes they can be pretty good. I don't know. Movies can be really good.
Quote, done. Podcast over.
Really enjoy them. I don't know. Movies don't really mean anything.
I don't know why we don't have more listeners.
I got nothing, Jeremy. That's like the worst question I've ever been asked. I don't know.
How do you interview for jobs? It's a basic question about
What do they mean to me? I don't know. Like, I just sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. I like to watch them. I don't fucking know. And same thing with the podcast. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. That's I don't know. I'm just fucking here every week. Ben, you're up.
Oh my god, I wish you would have asked me first. How am I gonna top that? Alright, what do movies mean to me? Yeah, movies mean less to me than the podcast at this point. Movies are like a good escape from time to time. I feel like while this podcast has evolved, I feel like TV shows have become more and more like meaningful to me. But movies overall, just there's some really good gems, and I feel like they bring nostalgia out of you too. Like you're like, oh yeah, like Halloween Town. Used to fucking love that movie. Hubie Halloween will be like a nostalgic movie for me
forever.
Even for you, Jeremy. Hubie Halloween will be nostalgic for you. But
Yep, the next time I watch that.
in 25 years when you do a podcast about it. More so the podcast, what it has meant to me, you know, during COVID when I didn't have a job, it was like all I had to look forward to every week, and like I would just be like, I have nothing to do. All right, I'm gonna watch this movie. I'm actually gonna prepare, write notes, and then like when we would do it on Friday nights or Saturdays, whenever we did it, like I'd be like, this is great, love it. I think what like our downfall ended up being is just like the world picked back up, and it was like me and Bob just on Fridays are like, we're not fucking doing a podcast.
I want to go to the bar.
But no, like overall, this like I'll be like it's very bittersweet. Like I'm happy. Like we don't really have to work hard. Not that me and Bob ever worked hard, but like even like we just didn't want to come here on Fridays sometimes. But like it's bitter because like I did enjoy like a large portion of this.
Yeah,
it's pretty sad it's ending. I never thought we'd be like fucking Barstool, but you know, but
I thought we'd get more than 10 listeners.
But I also didn't think
a year and a half.
But then we hit a point where I was just like, we're not going to do that much more, and we ended up doing 70 episodes or whatever. And I don't know, it was a good time.
The only reason I added the what do movies mean to you precursor to the question of what the podcast means to you is because when I was thinking about what the podcast meant to me, I realized that there was a lot of overlap as far as what the podcast meant to me being similar to what movies mean to me, in that I'm just a fan of the creative process. And to me, I think movies are like the upper echelon example of translating an idea in someone's head into something that people can understand and in a lot of times can be moved by as well. And obviously in a much smaller degree, that's kind of what the podcast was. My favorite parts of the podcast were formulating the ideas, coming up with the structures, coming up with the games, coming up with the themes, and then recording them. And then that's where the fun ended for me. But I still had several more hours of work. As far as editing, publishing, making thumbnails. I mean, there's parts of that are fun, but
that's
doing
where
it
I think
every week for 18 months.
Sorry to cut you off, but like that's where I think me and Bob like we're the ones who are like the most lazy, and then we don't even know like the editing challenge. I like
don't even care either.
Don't give a shit. You'd be like, Jeremy would send the thumbnail on like Monday morning, and we'd be like, oh yeah, we did a podcast this week, and Jeremy had to edit it. So yeah, that shout out to you, Jeremy, for doing all that. Because if me or Bob had to do this would have been a 3-week thing.
I'm looking forward to getting those hours back in my week. The last few weeks not having to do it has been good. As much as I will miss it, the parts that I mentioned that are enjoyable to me, I think, I mentioned it to you guys, but I think I've put about as much energy and effort into this as I'm willing to do going forward. So, we won't say that there will never be another episode of the Big Movie Boys podcast.
Geostorm coming soon.
Maybe we'll have that Geostorm episode, maybe another Bimbas, who knows? There could be something. We're not promising anything. So, I guess with that, You guys have any final thoughts on movies?
Go watch some.
Go watch them. You know, some are good, some are bad. No, I just had a good time with this podcast, having a couple beers with my friends every week, honestly, talking about movies. Yeah, a couple. You know, we're just regular guys giving a regular perspective on movies. That's
That's the name of the podcast.
that's what we are.
I don't, which one of you wants to claim naming rights for Big Movie Boys? Which one of you threw that out there?
It was at my apartment, and it was right before COVID. I think
it was me.
I think it was me.
I think it was me.
I think I remember someone just said Big Movie Boys, and we were like, fuck yeah. And Jeremy was like, no, that can't be
I
it.
think I said Big Movie Guys, but that was already a podcast.
And it quickly became Boys. Yeah.
Well, that's
which
a
is
great
better.
name. I'll be honest with you, that's a great fucking name.
Yeah, that was great.
Well, boys, thank you for joining me. It's been an adventure. It's been a ride. But like all good rides, this one has come to an end.
Stop crying.
When we do another movie podcast, I have the greatest setting for it, Bob. Can you tell us where it's going to be?
Yeah, it's a little town. You might have heard of it. Little city by the bay. Some call it Boston.
You heard it here, the 20-year anniversary of the Big Movie Boys. We won't have seen each other in 20 years. Can you imagine?
We'll record it underwater in the fucking harbor. Mark Wahlberg's gonna be scuba diving with us in Boston Harbor.
Alright, before this gets any further off the rails, as always, thank you for listening, and remember, we'll see you at the movies. We'll see you when you see it.
Is that what you used to say?
He said it once and we trashed him, I think.